Hello, welcome back, family. In this video, we bring you an interesting Bible quiz from the Book of Esther. Test your knowledge of this powerful story of courage, faith, and God's providence. We'll ask you multiple choice questions. See how many you can get right and challenge yourself to learn something new. Don't forget to share this Bible quiz with people who are like-minded as you. All right, let's dive into the quiz. What was Esther's original Hebrew name? Answer: Hadassah, Esther 2:7. And Mordecai had brought up Hadassah, that is, Esther, his uncle's daughter, for she had neither father nor mother. The young woman was lovely and beautiful. When her father and mother died, Mordecai took her as his own daughter. Who was promoted above all the princes by King Ahasuerus? Answer: Haman, Esther 3:1. After these things, King Ahasuerus promoted Haman, the son of Hammedatha the Agagite, and advanced him, and set his seat above all the princes who were with him. What was the relationship between Esther and Mordecai? Answer: cousins, Esther 2:7. And Mordecai had brought up Hadassah, that is, Esther, his uncle's daughter, for she had neither father nor mother. The young woman was lovely and beautiful. When her father and mother died, Mordecai took her as his own daughter. In what province was the palace of Shushan? Answer: Elam, Esther 1:2. In those days when King Ahasuerus sat on the throne of his kingdom, which was in Shushan the citadel. How many days did the feast of King Ahasuerus last for the people of Shushan? Answer: 7 days, Esther 1:5. And when these days were completed, the king made a feast lasting 7 days for all the people who were present in Shushan the citadel, from great to small, in the court of the garden of the king's palace. What was the penalty for going into the inner court of the king without being called? Answer: death, Esther 4:11. All the king's servants and the people of the king's provinces know that any man or woman who goes into the inner court to the king, who has not been called, he has but one law: put all to death, except the one to whom the king holds out the golden scepter, that he may live. Yet I myself have not been called to go into the king these 30 days. Who was the queen that refused to come at the king's command? Answer: Vashti, Esther 1:12. But Queen Vashti refused to come at the king's command, brought by his eunuchs. Therefore the king was furious, and his anger burned within him. Who was Mordecai's father? Answer: Jair. Esther 2:5. In Shushan the citadel, there was a certain Jew whose name was Mordecai, the son of Jair, the son of Shimei, the son of Kish, a Benjamite. In which month was Esther taken to King Ahasuerus? Answer: Tebeth. Esther 2:16. So Esther was taken to King Ahasuerus, into his royal palace, in the 10th month, which is the month of Tebeth, in the 7th year of his reign. For how many days did Esther ask the Jews in Shushan to fast for her? Answer: 3 days. Esther 4:16. Go, gather all the Jews who are present in Shushan, and fast for me. Neither eat nor drink for 3 days, night or day. My maids and I will fast likewise, and so I will go to the king, which is against the law. And if I perish, I perish. What was the reason Mordecai gave for not bowing to Haman? Answer: He was a Jew. Esther 3:4. Now it happened, when they spoke to him daily and he would not listen to them, that they told it to Haman, to see whether Mordecai's words would stand. For Mordecai had told them that he was a Jew. What did the king do to show his pleasure when Esther was crowned? Answer: He made a great feast. Esther 2:18. Then the king made a great feast, the feast of Esther, for all his officials and servants. And he proclaimed a holiday in the provinces, and gave gifts according to the generosity of a king. How long was the period of beauty preparations for the young women? Answer: 12 months. Esther 2:12. Each young woman's turn came to go into King Ahasuerus, after she had completed 12 months' preparation, according to the regulations for the women. For thus were the days of their preparation apportioned: 6 months with oil of myrrh, and 6 months with perfumes and preparations for beautifying women. What did the king hold out to Esther when she came into his presence? Answer: The golden scepter. Esther 5:2. So it was, when the king saw Queen Esther standing in the court, that she found favor in his sight, and the king held out to Esther the golden scepter that was in his hand. Then Esther went near and touched the top of the scepter. How high were the gallows that Haman had made for Mordecai? Answer: 50 cubits. Esther 5:14. Then his wife Zeresh and all his friends said to him, "Let a gallows be made, 50 cubits high, and in the morning suggest to the king that Mordecai be hanged on it. Then go merrily with the king to the banquet." And the thing pleased Haman, so he had the gallows made. What was read to the king when he could not sleep? Answer: the Book of the Chronicles, Esther 6:1. That night the king could not sleep, so one was commanded to bring the book of the records of the Chronicles, and they were read before the king. Who did Esther identify as the adversary and enemy? Answer: this wicked Haman. Esther 7:6. And Esther said, "The adversary and enemy is this wicked Haman." So Haman was terrified before the king and queen. What happened to Haman? Answer: he was hanged on the gallows that he had prepared for Mordecai. Esther 7:10. So they hanged Haman on the gallows that he had prepared for Mordecai. Then the king's wrath subsided. What did the king give to Esther? Answer: the house of Haman. Esther 8:1. On that day King Ahasuerus gave Queen Esther the house of Haman, the enemy of the Jews. And Mordecai came before the king, for Esther had told how he was related to her. How is Mordecai described at the end of the book? Answer: as second to King Ahasuerus. Esther 10:3. For Mordecai the Jew was second to King Ahasuerus, and was great among the Jews, and well received by the multitude of his brethren, seeking the good of his people, and speaking peace to all his countrymen. How many provinces were in the kingdom of Ahasuerus? Answer: 127. Esther 1:1. Now it came to pass in the days of Ahasuerus. This was the Ahasuerus who reigned over 127 provinces, from India to Ethiopia. What was the name of the chamberlain who was commanded to bring Queen Vashti? Answer: Mehuman. Esther 1:10. On the seventh day, when the heart of the king was merry with wine, he commanded Mehuman, Biztha, Harbona, Bigtha, Abagtha, Zethar, and Carcass, 7 eunuchs who served in the presence of King Ahasuerus. How many princes of Persia and Media had access to the king's presence? Answer: 7. Esther 1:14, and those closest to him were Karshina, Shethar, Admatha, Tarshish, Meres, Marsina, and Memucan, the 7 princes of Persia and Media, who had access to the king's presence and who ranked highest in the kingdom.
Who was Esther's father?
Answer: Abihail. Esther 2:15. Now when the turn came for Esther, the daughter of Abihail, the uncle of Mordecai, who had taken her as his daughter, to go in to the king, she requested nothing but what Hegai, the king's eunuch, the custodian of the women, advised. And Esther obtained favor in the sight of all who saw her.
Who was Haman's wife?
Answer: Zeresh. Esther 5:10. Nevertheless, Haman restrained himself and went home, and he sent and called for his friends and his wife Zeresh. What were the names of the 2 eunuchs who sought to lay hands on King Ahasuerus? Answer: Bigthan and Teresh. Esther 2:21. In those days, while Mordecai sat within the king's gate, 2 of the king's eunuchs, Bigthan and Teresh, doorkeepers, became furious and sought to lay hands on King Ahasuerus. What emotion did the people of the provinces feel towards the Jews after the second decree? Answer: fear. Esther 8:17. And in every province and city, wherever the king's command and decree came, the Jews had joy and gladness, a feast and a holiday. Then many of the people of the land became Jews, because fear of the Jews fell upon them. In whose gate did Mordecai sit? Answer: the king's gate. Esther 2:21. In those days, while Mordecai sat within the king's gate, 2 of the king's eunuchs, Bigthan and Teresh, doorkeepers, became furious and sought to lay hands on King Ahasuerus. From which tribe of Israel was Mordecai? Answer: Benjamin. Esther 2:5. In Shushan the citadel there was a certain Jew whose name was Mordecai, the son of Jair, the son of Shimei, the son of Kish, a Benjamite. Who suggested that Haman be hanged on the gallows? Answer: Harbona. Esther 7:9. Now Harbona, one of the eunuchs, said to the king, "Look, the gallows, 50 cubits high, which Haman made for Mordecai, who spoke well on the king's behalf, is standing at the house of Haman." Then the king said, "Hang him on it." That's the end of our Book of Esther quiz. How many questions did you get right? Let us know your score in the comments below. If you enjoyed this quiz, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more Bible quizzes and studies. Thanks for joining us. Peace be with you.